The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'd like to welcome my first guest today, Sarah Pascal of Brunch & Co., a cute little brunch restaurant in downtown Whitby. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for being here. So tell us all about Brunch & Co. and how you got it started.
So Brunch & Co. we're located downtown Whitby. I started out, I was always in the restaurant industry. I was a server. I really enjoyed it. I did it for a long time. And then I started out as a catering company. So I did take out brunch boxes during COVID. So obviously during COVID, we couldn't work. So I was like, okay, how can I pivot and do something else? And I always knew I wanted a brunch place, so that's how I started. So I did, people would like pick up and we would deliver pancake charcuterie boxes, which is still one of my biggest sellers, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you started with a catering company first?
Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah. People would order online, and then I would do parties, birthdays. I've done a couple like backyard weddings, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's how I really got my name out there before I actually found my space to make it into a restaurant.
Oh, okay. And how long did you have your catering company?
About a year and a half.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So is there a tie to doing a restaurant business or catering, like family-wise? Like what would really inspire you to go that direction? Because that's very, well, not that food is niche, but it's not an easy path, and there's so much to consider.
I think for me, a lot of it started, like I was always passionate about like cooking and food. But I just loved being in the restaurant industry. I loved being a waitress. I loved the atmosphere and being around people. So it was more of like, how could I do this for myself, work for myself? So that's kind of where my drive came from. And like my father as well, he was very inspirational in my journey. And he always was very much like, I love that you're a waitress, but like, let's try to open something ourselves, you know? And so that's kind of how it started. So that gave me the confidence to go like, I can do this. The vision, as much as I like doing takeout food, the real vision was having people come sit down and create like a cozy, chic atmosphere. I used to go downtown Toronto for brunch often, and I just wanted to bring something like that to Durham. I found we had a lot of mom and pops and diners, so I just wanted something more fun that we could, yeah.
Well, I think you've established that because I've been to your restaurant several times, and it is a lot of fun. There's just like this vibe about it. It's very chic. Just very different. Everyone's so friendly, but it's a busy spot. So I know you're doing very well.
Thank you. Yes.
So what was it like starting like around COVID? Well, explain what that looked like.
So for me, I found I thrived. Like that was like the best time for me. I know it was hard losing my waitressing job because I didn't know what to do. But I had all that time to really put like my mind to it and say like, I can do this. And there's nothing else. The world is kind of shut down right now. There's nothing else that I really have to focus on. So like, this is a good time to like focus on your dream and your business. So, because food at that time, everybody was just doing takeout. So a brunch place, it was just different. People were really excited. It was something new. And it really went along with the times because people were only doing delivery and pickup. So I was also very grateful. I was a waitress at Baton Rouge, and they had 2 lines in their kitchen. So they were also only doing takeout, and they're not open in the morning. So I approached them, and they were very kind and let me use part of their kitchen to do takeout. So I actually had a place where people were able to like pick up, because I didn't want to like do it out of my house, you know, it's not the same. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity, and that's really what kind of got me going.
Oh, okay. So if one wanted to open a restaurant, like where would they even start?
I would say definitely have a vision. Food is it is a hard business, and there is a lot of us. Like, everywhere you go, there's a restaurant on every corner. So have a vision, be really passionate about it, and I would start creating like your menu in your like head and like in your kitchen. Start practicing. Start with your friends. See if they like it. It's also very popular. You can rent ghost kitchens. So for me, I'd say that's your best place. Start doing like takeout, test the market, see where you're needed. So there are different kitchens you can rent.
Oh, okay, ghost kitchens.
Yeah.
So would it be like at a restaurant or kind of like what you did at Baton
kind of
Rouge?
like what I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or some people just have commercial kitchens, and that's all they do is just rent them out to small businesses for caterers who have big events, stuff like that. So that was where I was leaning towards. It was convenient to do it, somewhere where I worked for a long time and to be around people that I worked with. But that's what I was looking for originally. And that's when I just thought to myself, I'm like, okay, it's COVID. They're not using that space. Maybe I can just get in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, it's excellent.
Yes.
So tell us about, well, first of all, what makes you unique compared to other restaurants?
I'd say definitely the menu. So it's more, I'd like to say more upscale brunch. So instead of like you go to a breakfast place and you can have pancakes and French toast, I find that we take everything to the next level. So we have like lemon blueberry ricotta pancakes, stuff like that. So the atmosphere, like it's kind of like boho chic. So I find that you can't really find that. As much in Durham and like downtown Whitby.
Yeah.
And I like that we are downtown Whitby. It's like a cute little street. It's busy, lots of people walking around.
Yeah.
It kind of just goes all with the vibe flow.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, as I said, like I've been in there a few times and it's always so busy. So good for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So what do you do in addition to the restaurant, like immerse like events and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm very lucky in a sense of my hours are short at Brunch & Co, so I'm open from 8 to 2. So in the afternoon, I really try to utilize the space. So I do events like for Christmas, for example, I've done doormat painting. So everybody gets like a cocktail and they can paint their mat. Gingerbread house decorating is really popular. I've done movie nights. And then people rent the space a lot. So I'm constantly setting up for people's events, whether it's a wedding shower, a baby shower. It is a smaller space, of course, but anybody that's wanting to have like a micro event, it's a great place. And a lot of networking events as well.
And what's the capacity?
30
30?
To sit comfortably, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, if you're like standing up and walking around, you can fit a little more, but it's 30.
Oh, okay. No, that's great. That's a
Yeah.
good amount.
Yeah.
So with all that you do, how do you support women entrepreneurship?
With the networking events, like I find I love supporting women in business. So I get a lot of, I always tell people if they want to have events, like my space is a great place to do it. And yeah, I go to these events as well. So just networking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with a business like yours, I would think that it requires a lot of you. So how do you find that balance between like that work-life balance and just enjoying some time for yourself?
It is difficult. I'm always there. Time management is definitely a thing. I do have to separate myself. The hard part about it is I do live above the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So I have a hard time, sometimes being like, okay, you're at home, you're not at work. But I do try to, go to yoga, do things that, that way I'm actually separate from the building. But it is very difficult in the restaurant industry. I am grateful, though, that my hours are limited. And then I choose when I want to do events in the evening. So that's helpful if I tell myself, okay, I need a day, and I take the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about any challenges that you've faced?
The work-life balance is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
As well as for myself, getting into becoming like a boss was very difficult, and I still struggle because I was just like always a server and stuff. I had a hard time going like, okay, I'm the one that needs to say this is how this is going or this. So I do still struggle with that.
Okay.
So it's finding, I guess, my voice and like I'm not just like an employee, and if things need to be done, it's me that has to do it, and I can't, and if I need something to change, I have to say it.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult. I'm getting there, being a little more assertive, but it's been a journey. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So let's explore that a bit more, because I think a lot of people, they probably find themselves in the same position because it's like that imposter syndrome, right? And it's just, they don't really, they just don't see themselves as the boss. So what type of mindset shifts have you had?
I just really have to tell myself, like, again, if I don't do something, it's not going to get done. And if I don't like something, I have to change it. But it is a lot of just having to, like, every day reiterate to myself, like, okay, Sarah, like, this is your place, or this is how you should see things. But I do have, like, a bit of an imposter syndrome, like, oh yeah, like, it's me. But I don't know, it's just a lot of coaching myself. Yeah.
So what, do you have a coach? Like, you coach yourself, you talk to yourself, but do you have a coach?
I do. I don't have, no. I do a lot of, like, reading, a lot of, like, self-help books, like podcasts I listen to, trying to get a little oomph in my step. But, yeah.
Now, what about your staff? How many do you have on staff?
There are 8.
8
in total. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you're leading that's a good sized team.
Yes, and there's lots of moving parts and things. Everybody has a different job, and it's just because you have your front of house, back of house, like so managing both of that has been interesting.
So how do you empower and inspire your staff? Because as I said, like earlier in our conversation, like everyone's just like, it's really, really moving in there. It's busy, but everything's just, you're not waiting a long time, and everyone seems very happy and friendly. What is it that you do to really inspire them?
I kind of let people lead, like to be creative for themselves, which I think is important, because even working myself, I've always needed like, when you get to bring a bit of yourself to it, you're a lot happier and passionate about it. Yeah. I also like to think that I like create a very like happy workspace. Like my work coworkers are also like my family, so I just try to keep everyone together, keep them encouraged, and they're happy and they enjoy doing what they do as well. And it's always good that it's busy too, because it really keeps the day and everybody going.
Yeah. So what would you say is the best business strategy that you've applied?
That's a tough one. Like reliability, teaching everybody and myself. And the restaurant will not function if we're not all there and doing things. So I think I've really encouraged everybody to be reliable, and myself as well as I go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So what would be your words of advice to anyone starting in business in general?
Find your purpose, your vision, and just go for it, because the imposter syndrome, you're going to think to yourself, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? But you will literally never know unless you try. And I think back to my 26-year-old self when I started, and I'm grateful that I did it. So just do it. Go for it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is great.
Thank you for having me.
And stay tuned. We'll be speaking with Cynthia from Rising Spirit next.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university, so they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate. My first guest today is Cynthia Banks of Rising Spirit Bed, Breakfast, and Beyond. I love that name.
Oh, thank you. Like, it's so wonderful to be here and actually to step back in studio, because I feel like I'm stepping back to a former self. And not my bed, breakfast, and beyond hat.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so we're going to talk all about that.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, tell us about Rising Spirit first, and then tell us about your former life, because it's really good story.
Yeah. So I stepped into kind of the wellness industry as the result of that former life. And I wanted to be well myself, spiritually, mentally, physically, and was on that path and decided to change direction, to hold space, to open up a place where people could come, take a pause, take a breath. So we married an overnight bed and breakfast with wellness activities and services. Yeah. And it's really a one-off, one of a kind. Yeah. It's enchanting, it's beautiful. It's 5 acres on the Ganaraska River in Orono, Ontario, just around the corner from Brimacombe Ski Hill. And people have come to renew, refresh, rejuvenate, and we're 5-star rated still. So awesome. Yeah, that's 5 years, and we have our 5-year anniversary coming up December 20th. I can't believe it.
Oh, wow. Are you doing anything special?
We are. We're celebrating with a winter solstice one-night retreat.
Oh.
And of course, our social media is full of pictures over the years, and just going back over those years. Some of it's like a blur, of course, because we opened just before COVID hit. But the times that we've had are, there's been real highs. There's been beautiful moments. There has been moments that are out of this world, and then there have been some real lows as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like opening around the time of COVID and all that. So I've heard a lot of great things about it. Actually, excuse me, a mutual friend of ours, she told me that she's going to a silent retreat.
Yes.
And actually, I didn't know it was yours. But when she asked me, would you like to join me? I just laughed. I was like, have we not met? Silent retreat for, I think it was 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've been following or looking at her posts that she did about that retreat or her experience. And I'm thinking, maybe that is something I should consider.
It's hard, when you look on the website, it's hard to fathom and understand the spirit that is at that place. It's a feeling. Yeah. There is something so warm and so loving and so special there. And then another lady who was a travel writer was at that silent retreat. She just put out a blog yesterday, how that silent retreat changed her life.
Wow.
Like, I get so emotional because like, the impact that we have had on some people has just been a gift to watch. More than I could ever imagine.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So tell us about your former life then.
So I was 30 years as a journalist / documentary filmmaker. Started at the CBC. Well, a lot of my programs were for the CBC. And the last one I did was very emotionally challenging on at-home dementia caregivers called the Caregivers Club. And I was so exhausted after that. And my sister on the phone said to me, if you had 3 months to live, would you be doing what you're doing? And I broke out laughing. And I said, no, like I was tired. I was done, right? And she said, well, then change it. And I was like, oh, well, I couldn't right away because I was in distribution, but I'm telling you, within that year, that sank in, and I went, I have one more kind of time frame to do something else. And I wanted to step away from telling other people's stories. That's what I had done. I was always on the outside, looking in, and I didn't want to tell their stories anymore. I wanted to help them help themselves. People change their stories. I didn't want to just, helicopter in, grab all this information out of them. I wanted to be able to sit with them, hold space, and help them. I mean, I'm not a healer, but people heal themselves. And I wanted to be there for that on a more personal level.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like how you said that. People heal themselves.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of people know that or realize that.
Oh.
How does this help them to discover that?
Well, a lot of the modalities that we explore there are natural, from breath work to Reiki, to sound healing, to meditation, walking meditations, labyrinth, yoga. And I mean, if you just take a little bit of time to explore some of those, you will understand how it opens up our bodies, how it changes us on a cellular level. Like the Yoga Nidra, which is a guided relaxation, is the only natural way to change your neurological patterns in your brain. So you can actually change your thought patterns, your emotions from doing this. So there's so many ways to heal yourself, and that's what we offer with overnight bed and breakfast.
So does that take a period of time? Do people have to keep coming back for sessions, or what does that look like?
Sometimes we do have ongoing sessions, but we hope that, we'll kind of like catapult people, over a weekend to go look at how you can feel. That's what happened in COVID.
Okay.
People would land on our doorstep on the Friday night, and we would help them traumatize. They traumatize. We never knew that this would be kind of what we would be doing. A lot of people said, because we opened right before COVID hit, and they said, oh, bad timing. And now I go, was it really bad timing? People would come, frontline workers like nurses and teachers. I had a doctor there, just like this, right? And so by the time they left, they could breathe again. They were actually connected. Their head and their body were connected again, and they were firmly on the ground. And they could leave feeling like they could go and do it again.
Okay. So what's the, I guess, the shortest stay, and what would be the longest stay in regards to the programs that you have?
Well, some people come for one night, and they add on a day retreat, or they just ask for specific healing practices, and we can program that in for them. Some people will take over the whole place for the weekend. Like we have a group of men and women taking it over, and we'll program around them and what they want. The longest, I don't know. Nobody's. We are usually just closed on Monday night, just to give myself and my son, Chris, who runs the business with me, a break. But hey, if someone needed to stay longer, we would open our door for that as well.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
So,
and some weekends are themed.
Oh, okay.
And then, like the silent retreat, right?
Yeah.
We've got a restorative reset retreat we do. We've got an energy chakra retreat coming up. So a lot of them are different, but then you can just do your own thing.
Yeah.
So our slogan this year is "You do you with us."
Ah,
Yes.
okay, I love it.
Yeah.
So you made quite a pivot, from one career to another. What other pivots have you made in your life that have?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. The biggest pivot besides this career change, but you know what? I was just talking to Ruthie, who did my beautiful makeup.
Yes.
And we were talking about the big pivot that actually got me to this place in my life. And that was addiction recovery.
Oh, okay.
About 32 years ago, I decided that I had to change my life. I was living too hard. I was working hard and I was playing way too hard.
Wow.
And I decided to make that change.
Oh, good for you.
It took me years to do that. So if you are trying to do that, please never give up. It took me a long time. Never give up. Just keep trying. That's what was told to me. And I eventually got it.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. Some people think it should be easy, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But now I am who I am meant to be.
Yes.
And I never thought I would get there.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it because they're used to a different me. I love who I am.
Yeah.
I love what I do. And this is one of the reasons I think I was directed to open Rising Spirit. I mean, it all just came together. I went for a walk. I was living on the other side of the forest. I walked down this driveway that had a for sale sign, and I had never felt like I belonged somewhere like I did on that piece of property. And I looked at it and I could see the vision. There's running water all through it, waterfall, ponds, artesian well. Like there was just, it was it. It was it. It was, and I always say, I bought it for us.
Yeah.
Not just me. I bought it for us, which meant the collective.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt it was for.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. So that really, that recovery period took me to, study yoga, study meditation, get my Reiki. That was the first healing practice that I did because I was traumatized. I had PTSD as well. And so I knew if I could be touched, I would be okay. So that was the first recovery modality I went to. And then I got my addictions counseling from McMaster. I didn't know what all these things were for.
Yeah.
I was doing them just for me.
Wow.
Now I know what they're for. They're for Rising Spirit, bed, breakfast, and beyond. And of course, you know now what the beyond means.
Yeah.
The beyond means it's way beyond any bed and breakfast that you've ever been to.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing, it's affordable.
Yeah.
That was another reason I wanted to open it because the spas that are out there, love them, but I don't know about you, but I can't afford $700, $800 a night now. And our prices, we have kept so affordable all through COVID and even after because we know people are hurting. And it's the people who are hurting who need this. So yeah, that's another reason I opened it.
That's great. Well, it sounds like a beautiful place. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you are so welcome, and I hope you come, really
I
soon.
I will. I'm going to try that silent retreat.
Oh,
I might,
yes.
I'll struggle, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad, because we're just organizing another one.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life, I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that put me